to After Dark at the Fixed Ops Roundtable, featuring Cara Delane and Ted Ings. This episode is brought to you by BG Products, partners beyond products. And now for your hosts, Ted Ings and Cara Delane.
Howdy, everyone, and welcome to the Fixed Ops Roundtable After Dark. Howdy, Ted.
Howdy, Cara. That's an amazing opening. We have some also amazing guests with us this evening that are going to be spending some time with us. I'll introduce them real quickly. They are Kathleen Long from Repair Pal is with us tonight. Katie Mears, author and speaker extraordinaire, is with us, and Coralie Zoof, author as well. In fact, let me put the books up real quick. Katie is coming out with a book in February on customer experience. We're going to talk a little bit about that tonight. And of course, many of you have already become familiar with Coralie's book on, here we go, the 5-star service advisor. And that is available now as well. And by the way, Cara, we are live tonight, right?
We are live on Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube. So all of our rowdy crowd down below, keep sharing the video, comment. And I'm sure Kathleen's hat is going to get a lot of comments tonight, Ted.
Kathleen, I love that hat. Is there a story behind that?
Yes. So first of all, I'm the rhinestone cowgirl this evening. So always rhinestones, but a cowgirl tonight. And actually, this was just an ordinary pink Western hat. And then my son glued all of these rhinestones on it because we went on a vacation this year to Dollywood and to Nashville. And that required something more than ordinary for us to wear, of course.
I love it.
I love that. I see Ray is in the chat. Tony Owens with his hat as well. But Tony, your hat has nothing on Kathleen's hat there. So that is amazing. And Coralie, I see you're wearing a hat. That's not a typical hat we'd see in British Columbia, though, is it?
No, I came all the way down to the States to pick it up. So the more occasions I can find to wear it, the better.
All right. Well, cool. Looking forward to it. Now, Carol, what's the reason with the hats? Is there anything behind that theme?
Because this coming January, Ted, we are going into the Fixed Ops Roundtable, the Wild, Wild West. So everybody is dressing in their Western wear, and we're getting excited for that. It's happening January 23rd, 24th, 25th, and 26th, all virtual and online, guys. So grab your cowboy hats and get your complimentary tickets at fixedopsroundtable.com.
And we're really going to play up that Wild West theme. I've got a couple seconds of trailer here that I can share with you that's coming up at the event. So I'll show that now real quick if I can. So our friend Michelle McLean made sure that all the speaker announcements, Cara, are going to be wanted posters. So that means that yourself and the three ladies on here tonight are all going to have wanted posters as well.
I love that idea, and Michelle always does such an excellent job putting those together for us. But these by far are my favorite ones yet, Ted. So
Yeah.
props to Michelle.
Yeah, great job. And also, I want to give a quick shout out to our exclusive sponsor tonight. That is BG Products, Partners Beyond Products. They're in Wichita, Kansas. And thank you so much to BG for all that you do for our industry. It is greatly appreciated. And they're a big supporter. A lot of news coming in early 2023 from BG Products as well. So now that we are here and we're online, Katie, it's good to have you back. I have not seen you at a Fixed Ops Roundtable in some time.
I went into hiding. I mean, COVID happened and I went fishing. No, well, yes, I did. I actually went fishing a lot during COVID. But it's been a whirlwind getting the book done and getting ready to launch it. And so I kind of went, head down and I mean, how it is to write a book and it's just, it's a lot. So I'm excited to be head above water now and to be able to share it with the world. I'm really excited to be back.
And we're honored to have you back. And I see Ryan is in the chat tonight. Ed Roberts, good evening, Ed. Thank you for all you do for our industry as well. And Owen Moon is with us tonight. And Kara, I was talking to Owen today about his segment coming up at the Roundtable. He's got something really special planned. Also, Owen has something very special that's going to be announced sometime very shortly. His daughter is expecting, it'll be Owen's first grandchild. So we're going to be hearing about that very soon. So Owen,
Congratulations. That's
congratulations,
amazing.
Owen Moon. Yeah, Owen Moon, Fixed Ops Digital, the premier digital agency for retail dealers. So great stuff there. And Coralie, you were on that Repair Pal panel. It seems like yesterday, but it was at the last event, Dare to Dream. And you had a real good crowd on there. And that was your first panel on the Fixed Ops Roundtable.
Yeah, that was lots of fun. Great group of people to chat with, and everyone had great suggestions. So it was an awesome experience.
So you work with not just dealers, but you work with shops and with service advisors, and you have a service background. Talk to us a little bit about that, if our audience doesn't know already.
Predominantly in the chain stores like Canadian Tires, where I started off here, and then also with independent shops as well. So I started off as a first-year automotive technician, and then went into sales. And the sweet spot was as a service advisor and manager.
Wow. Brian Levinson is in the chat tonight. Good evening, Brian from SciTech. Great technology that technicians are using now with their mobile devices to be able to perform repairs on vehicles. So, Brian, congratulations to you. I'm getting those emails. They are updating everybody. You're moving into a lot of stores. So, great work, Brian, and hope to see you in January as well. Also, that last panel with Repair Pal, Coralie, that talked a little bit about price perception. Kathleen had us focus on that and how a lot of people perceive, Coralie, the dealer or the retailer to be more expensive in price than the shop. Is that always the case, or is that more perception than reality?
No, I found it's more perception than anything. They're just expecting the dealership to be more expensive. Like, I've been in independents where we've handed out estimates before. I'm going like, there's no way they're going to go for that. How can it be that much more cheaper? But it's not. There's not too much of a difference, especially when we have to buy the parts from the dealership, the independents, right? So there really isn't that much of a difference. It's just in the customer's mind, not actually in reality. So we need to change how they look at that.
Tony Owens is saying, Kara, you go chameleon. Who's he referring to?
Tony has named me the chameleon because I just change all the time and I'm always in different characters. So I'm living it up tonight, Tony, just for you. Another outfit that hasn't been seen yet. I even have cowboy boots on right now. I was telling everyone before the show that I didn't have time to change as I was shooting some content. So I'm sitting here in cowboy boots, fully dressed.
Oh, good. All right. So, Kathleen, you got a lot coming up at the next roundtable. The Roundstone Cowgirl has got a panel, and you've got that and more. I know Jamie Davis and Art Shaw and Ryan have been working on that as well. That's going to be exciting, what you've got coming up at the roundtable. I'm looking forward to that, Kathleen.
Yes, I'm looking forward to it too. I mean, there's so many great things about this industry. There's so many things that dealers can be doing to highlight the service that they do and, really acquire and retain those customers. And as it turns out, the Rhinestone Cowgirl does love to talk, and I love to talk to dealers, and I love to be part of the roundtable. So I'm looking forward to it.
I love it. In fact, congratulations. You won a best practice at one of our most recent events. And Katie, take us back in time, because you were one of the very first Fixed Ops Roundtable Best Practice Award winners.
I was.
It's got to be like 3 years ago now.
Yeah, I think it was it in Vegas? I don't remember. But yeah, it was one of the very first, and it was amazing. I talked about the 5 steps to a 5-star experience. So I can't wait to get your book, Coralie, because I'm gonna devour that. I think it's fantastic what you're doing, and I've got some contacts I want to give you after the show too to maybe help you out. But I sat with a room. I mean, the room was so full. I mean, it was standing room only. I remember, and it was amazing. The crowd was fantastic, eager to learn, and it was fantastic. It seems like forever ago, a lifetime ago even.
And you won the Best Practice Award with that 5-star experience. In fact, it was at that event, I think Brian Benstock was a winner as
Yes.
well.
Yes.
That Brian spoke about the service pickup, something new, Katie, service pickup and delivery that they were
Yep.
doing at Paragon Honda. This
Mhm.
was pre-2020, late 2019. Earl Sticks Brown, good evening, seasons greetings to you as well. And it's amazing how that was just a little before its time, but really not, because
It was
a couple
perfect
months
timing.
later, it was so timely.
Yeah, it was so timely. I mean, it really was the start of what everybody needed to hear. Not that we knew that this craziness was going to take over the world, but it definitely was something that we needed to hear and start to adopt. So it was very timely.
And the idea of going to pick up somebody's vehicle and bring it into service and then drop it off, was kind of the forerunner. And now, Joshua Taylor, good evening to you as well. We've got the mobile service, which Ed Roberts has been doing a whole lot of, and our friend Mark Mickens is doing a lot of as well. And that mobile panel, Kara, has really taken on a life of its own. I think Ed just added his 11th service van down at Bozard. And Sean Butler, good evening. And Kara, it's amazing how mobile has just taken on a life of its own these last 2 years.
I know, and to have that many mobile service vans, that their operation has to be in tip-top shape, because I cannot even imagine that on that big of a scale. But to service that many customers and utilize all of those mobile service vans is so impressive.
So, Katie, talk to us a little bit about that, okay? Because I want to focus a little bit on the female consumer tonight, being the decision maker. How important, Katie, would you say that convenience factor is
Oh my God.
being able to, get the vehicle serviced in your driveway or whatever you want?
Well, my favorite service right now is Instacart. Like, that is my favorite thing, right? Yes, because we're so busy. I mean, and especially if you're a mom with kids and, you're a woman that is working, so you're juggling a whole bunch more. And don't get me wrong, taking care of the home is also work in for itself. Mark, thank you so much. But it is so important. She makes 87% of all decisions, all household decisions. So she is the chief purchasing officer. So the experience that you provide her from a mobile aspect, if you can give her some of her time back and she doesn't have to think about it. And true story, right now, my TPMS system, TPMS sensors have gone off on my tires. Okay. I have my left back, or my right back blinker is out. So the light is gone. I've been driving like this for 2 weeks because I can't seem to make it a priority, because I have the kids to drive to school. I have my stuff to do. Everything else is more important than taking that car into a service shop. So yeah, that mobility, and I should probably look for something here in Toronto. I'm sure it exists, but that mobility would give me the freedom to then continue growing my business, taking care of my family, and doing something of higher importance. And then that experience that goes along with it, gosh, you'll have a customer for life. If you provide a timely, easy, convenient service that speaks to her, that speaks to the emotional part of her brain, the limbic brain, they'll service all their family's cars. And then it won't even just be her family. It'll be her sister, her brother, her mom, her dad, and everybody she's attached to. And she pretty much influences decisions for about 3 to 4 generations at this point.
Mark Mickens and Robert Miggs, I see you in the chat as well. Mark Mickens, don't go away. Got to talk to you about a horse. Kara's looking for a horse later this month, so we gotta
Yes.
get her horse up there. You know what? That convenience factor and the female consumer, Kathleen, that's got to be a big factor in the reason to go and have your vehicle serviced with an authorized dealer as well. Because beyond the price perception, that convenience factor is such an important thing.
Yeah, I think so. And look, sometimes we drive quite a ways in order to buy that car, especially these days. Who's got the inventory, right? Where is the car that we want to buy? And then so in order to retain us, the dealer really does need to make that convenient for us to return for service. Mm-hmm. So I recently bought a new car. I love it, by the way. And the last time when I needed service, because I'd hit my 5,000 mile marker, they came and picked it up, took it back to the dealership and brought it back to me. And that was fantastic. So The service drive needs to come to us sometimes. That's just the way life works. And then, Repair Pal was happy because then I was on the phone talking to people all day and didn't get interrupted. So, life continues on, and car problems are inconvenient at best and downright awful at worst. And so, the better we can make that experience for everyone, the more likely people will be to, get their car serviced, and obviously being on the road safely, especially important this time of year. So.
And Kathleen, I see more of that happening. I don't think it's going to go less or go away. I think it's only going to increase because that word of mouth, Ed Roberts, who's in the chat tonight, says that once you have your vehicle, like you just said, service, pickup and delivery or mobile, you're probably not going anywhere else. That's going to be, the place you're getting your vehicle service, Kathleen.
Yeah, that's right. So those that make it easy, that think about my needs as a customer, that are, being transparent, straightforward with me, and offering me good service are going to have me for life.
And Sean Butler's mentioning that T word, transparency. I know Jamie and I had a discussion about that early on this past year. How important is that transparency for the consumer, Kathleen? Because I see that growing in popularity as well.
Yeah, I think that's absolutely important. We are past the stage where we don't want to know what's going on. Just because we don't want to take care of it ourselves doesn't mean that we don't want to understand what's going on and understand what we're paying for and where the value is coming from, and to make those decisions with all of the information on board. So look, I am a very transparent person, as it turns out. And so I'm so glad this industry is turning that direction, because it works for me. I'm in the right place at the right time, to kind of live that value. And I'm excited that we make it easier for dealers and for repair facilities to really honor that transparency that the consumer is looking for, and to do it in a way that's fair for both the dealership and the consumer.
Yeah, I like that. So Coralie, talk to us a little bit about that from the service advisor side, transparency and the service pickup and delivery. How is that perceived from a service advisor? Is that just another thing that they have to be aware of and do, or, does that in fact make life maybe even a little bit easier in terms of explaining what the vehicle needs and so on?
Yeah, no, I was sort of reflecting on the difference between how men explain things and how women explain things. I never used to think that there was a this side or a that side. And I see so many salespeople like getting themselves psyched up in the morning, and it looks like they're going out to a football game to do a battle, right? And I'm like, oh, I want to stay away from that. I don't want to get trampled or anything. And the idea of like, if somebody tells you no, that you need to honor that, right? Whereas other people say that, if you get 2 no's, you need to keep going, and if you don't hear 3 no's, you're not doing it right. But how I like to look at it as like sort of a school teacher, and we're educating the people. So it doesn't matter if they're male or female. We just need to explain what the repair is and why they need it, what the technician saw. Sometimes we can bring out physical cues, like you can have a part in your hand, you can draw a picture, you can use a picture of the vehicle that can be texted. There's so many different options. And my goal, and what I like to tell people, is your customer should be able to go home to their loved ones and tell them what they got and why they got it, and then they don't feel ripped off. They understand what they got and the value of it. So if we can impart that, we're doing a good job.
Kara, what Kevin Beltran is saying here in the chat, I think is true. The turning point is now the device in the customer's hands, because Kara, they can fact check us real quick. And I know Kathleen likes to say there's a lot of sources that a consumer can, check us out with, but they're not always going to be reliable and trusted sources where Repair Pal is. Kara, talk to us about that, because, you work in a dealership and you're also a consumer, and you've had some car issues this past year and just acquired another car in the last couple of weeks. So kind of take us through that from your perspective.
Yeah, and I feel like part of my job here as an advocate in automotive is, at the end of the day, to be transparent and educate the consumers out there across the nation, across the world. But I know for me, working in a dealership and being a consumer, and yes, Ted, you're right, I've had so many car troubles in the last year, I feel like. And, I work at a dealership, and even for me, if I'm not getting, all of the information, if I don't know what's going on, I feel like, is my car ready? Am I going to have it back today? It makes me feel like I'm going crazy. And I work at a dealership, so I can only imagine what it feels like to be somebody just out in the public trying to get, their car serviced or fixed, whatever it may be, in a timely manner, and then explained what happened and why your bill is X amount of dollars. I think that is super important. And I feel like I try to do that for all of the consumers around the nation. But here in our service drive and with our mobile service, if you can explain and be transparent, it's going to hands down make that customer come back to your dealership for life.
So, Katie, that's a new word in service that we didn't hear a couple of years ago. Transparency now is really at a top priority, okay, for the consumer. Talk to us about that, because you've been talking, for some time now about the female consumer, and that, believe it or not, I think we're just still at the tip of the iceberg as far as that goes. And now transparency and how that weighs into the conversation.
I think man or woman, transparency is going to be important, right? It doesn't really matter. The customer needs to know. I always explain when I'm helping design an experience with a dealership that it's kind of like your baby's going in or your kid or your dog is going in for a procedure, right? So that door closes. So your vehicle is the person, that you care for going in for the procedure. The tech is the doctor. And then you're sitting in the waiting room and you're kind of twiddling your thumbs. And when you're not getting any information, what's happening is you're making up your own stories, right? You're creating, how much is it going to be? And then you might start Googling, because Dr. Google's there, right? It's the same thing for the service drive. So you're going to Google, well, what sound does this make and what could it be? And you're going to start to guesstimate what that is. And then all of a sudden we talk about perception, right? We've made our own perception, and perception is reality. And so transparency right from the get-go is extremely important in order to, I always say, disappointment or expectations not met. So if we can give them the expectations that we're going to deliver on, then you're not going to disappoint your customer, man or woman. Now, when it comes to the overall experience for a female, transparency is super important, but a female also needs to feel good about it. A man needs to get in and get out, right? Very utilitarian, point A to point B, just tell me what it is and let me know. I'm going to pay if it feels good and I'm going to leave. A woman needs a hedonic experience. It's an experience of the senses. And that's because our limbic brain is double the size of a man's. We feel far more greatly than a man does. And we also communicate with both left and right spheres of our brain, whereas a man only communicates with one. So our gray matter is far more vast, so we can make more connections. So we need to not only know the information, we have to feel good about the information. So when you're delivering the transparency or the transparent information to a woman, it needs to be in such a way that she's like, I trust you. It feels good. It's connecting with her limbic brain. So that's the kind of the difference between a man and a woman in terms of transparency. But overall, that customer, that guest experience, they're poor babies in the shop, and they're going to come up with all their own stories if we don't tell them what's going on. And then they're waiting anxiously for the doctor, the tech, to come give them, the update. So just make sure you're updating your customers as much as possible in order for them not to actually create that story for themselves. Because once they create their own perception, good luck breaking that down. That wall, that barrier's gone up. So it's extremely hard.
Kathleen, there's a lot going on in these scenarios. And think back, 5, let's say 10 years ago, we weren't having any of these discussions about transparency, Kathleen, or being able to, fact check the way we can today.
Yeah, not at all. And, Repair Pal started out doing an estimator. It was one of our very first products. And we got started with that almost 14 years ago when price transparency around service and repair wasn't a thing. But look, we looked at the car buying experience, and that was an experience that transparency came to many years ago. And that transformed the industry. So now, consumers didn't have to drive from dealership to dealership and collect prices and write them in a notepad anymore. And, they can have a digital experience around that. They can figure that out. And what we learned through our early research is that 60% of consumers were checking the price just as Katie was just saying, right while they were sitting in the lobby or sitting at home waiting for their car to be done. But many of those were getting some impression that, hey, I'm paying too much for this, or that's not really what's wrong, or whatever. And many of those customers were saying nothing. So you might think in the moment that's good because they pick up their car, they maybe smile, they take the keys, they walk away. But actually, the customer who doesn't tell you there's a problem, that's horrible, because they're never, ever coming back. They smile, they pay, but inside they're angry, they're hurt, they don't trust you, they're suspicious. They chalk this up as just another bad auto repair, right? Part of their negative perception of having their car break down in the first place has now been the service experience. They walk away, they say nothing. And another 20% are checking after the fact. So repair's already done, they've already paid everything, but then they're like, well, wait a minute, like, did I pay the right amount for that or not, or what? And, you know, like I've said to you many times, they're checking all kinds of things. Maybe they're looking on Amazon, they're looking at what parts cost on an e-commerce site. They're asking, you know, their Uncle Fred, right? Or whatever. And they're getting information from various sources that may not make sense. And that's why, you know, having a resource that's third-party resource that you can put in front of consumers and say, look, you don't have to take my word for it. Right. I want to appeal to you by offering you this independent resource that's well-researched, that's been around a while, and that you can take a look at, has been so transformational for the dealers and, you know, the independent repair shops as well that we work with.
Kathleen, I see that you're doing a lot now with these certified Repair Pal dealerships. You're opening that up, and there's a lot of dealers now coming on board Repair Pal. Talk to us about some of the benefits that a dealership has when they become Repair Pal certified, and what that means to them and to their consumer.
Yeah. So look, one of the most exciting benefits, I think, has been the difference for the service drive employees. So the employees are representing that they're feeling better about their jobs, because now it's not just like, hey, trust me, please, right? It's like, look, I can prove that this is a fair price. So that's been transformational for the employees, but they're also making more money. Why? Because their win-back ratio is higher, their service ticket is higher. They're able to justify the repair. So in some cases, it's not that the consumer can't afford it. It's that they don't want to afford it because they don't believe it's either really necessary or that they're paying a fair price. No matter how much money you make or you may have in your pocket, you never want to pay too much for a service or a repair or anything in general in life. We all want to get a good deal no matter what. So this enables, you know, dealers to show that. And when they show that, they win more business, both in the moment, but also in the long term with retention of that customer over time.
And I think service is going to have a new importance this coming year with a lot of things that are happening. I know Art Shaw, who's the CEO of Repair Pal, Corley, you met him at the last panel, put me on the spot 2 roundtables ago. And he asked me, he said, Ted, and I did not know the answer, Katie. He said, do you know the average age of the vehicle on, I believe that was the question, Kathleen, average age of the vehicle on the road. And Kathleen, what was that number? I know you know that number.
Yeah, so that number is creeping up toward about 13 years old. And, you know, look, I think that's just going to continue. You know, there's still shortages in the supply chain around new car inventory. But also even before all of this COVID nonsense happened, we were seeing every year that number creep up and over time. Cars are lasting longer. People are taking better care of them. They're a little better educated these days, thanks to the work of people like you, Ted, and everybody on this roundtable, and the great job that the dealers and shops are doing at really educating about car care. And so therefore, if I love my car and it still works and it's doing what I need it to do, why get rid of it? So people are holding on to the car until it's ready for the graveyard.
Yep. Love it. Kathleen, congratulations to you and Repair Pal. You got some big segments coming up at the roundtable in January.
I'm excited.
I'm excited as well. A big panel as well coming up. So stay tuned, everybody, for more on that. Katie, talk to us. Your book is coming out right around the time of that next roundtable. When is it going to be out again?
Yeah, so a book on women is launching on Valentine's Day. Go figure, right? No, it's February 14th, 2023. So just around the next roundtable. Really, really excited to finally get this out to the world.
And that can be pre-ordered, I found today on Amazon.
Yes,
you can go right on there and get that.
Amazon, Barnes & Noble, pretty much anywhere that sells books online, you can pre-order it.
So,
All right. Well, I'm excited to read that. I know you've been reading some of it online as well.
Yes.
I'd like to have you come back at the roundtable and talk to
Of
us about
course.
that a little
I would
bit as
love
well.
to.
And Coralie, you're coming back as well. Tell us a little bit about your book, Coralie, because I know it's out now, and I've seen a lot of people who are on the chat. I know have been posting that book online. So tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, no, I can't wait to pick up your book as well, Katie. That's so exciting. Being another author, and it's so relieved when it's all completed, right?
Oh, I can't. Yeah. For sure.
Yeah, it's like a baby.
It is.
No, mine is about how to communicate effectively with both the customers and the technicians, because I see there's also communication issues in the shop and how fast everything gets processed and information from the customer to the technician. You're almost like a translator. So you need to make sure you have the right words to go in and to go out to be efficient as possible and to get to the root of the problem.
Great book, great author, long overdue. Woman service advisor, talking about 5-star service advisor experience. I think there's a lot of synergy, by the way, Kara, with these folks who are on the panel tonight. I can just tell, I can see some more coming out of this. So I'm excited about all of that. And Kara, I know you're excited about the next event as well.
I am. I'm excited to hear more from everybody this time. And it's our first 4-day virtual event, Ted. So we've got one extra day in there that we haven't before. So more knowledge to be learned. And it's happening this January 23rd, 24th, 25th, and 26th. So hopefully everybody's got their complimentary tickets and will join us in their Western wear.
So we normally do, you're right, a 3-day event, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. But Kara, we're starting a day early on Monday, January 23rd.
Yep.
Any reason for that?
No, it's just my birthday, Ted. I thought it was going to be a fun time if I get all dressed up like a cowgirl and talk about automotive, 2 things that I love. And it just so happens to be on my birthday.
All right, so stay tuned for that, everybody. A lot happening in January. Also, we've launched in the last, I guess, 3-4 months, Kara, a TikTok page, right,
Yep.
for the Fixed Ops Roundtable. So everybody, if you're not already following us on LinkedIn and Facebook and YouTube and Instagram and all that, yep, there you go. Now we're on TikTok as well. So most of our video content comes out here first on TikTok. So be sure to catch that. And I see TikTok growing for automotive daily. So if you're not on TikTok already, everybody, I'd recommend get on there and see all that's happening. I was amazed at a lot of the good information that's being shared out there. So be a part of that as well. So
Yep, specifically about service too. Service and
a lot
parts
about
have
service.
way better TikToks than any variables. So check it out if you're not on TikTok yet.
Yeah, there's technicians on there. There's everything. Kathleen, I think that's another ripe opportunity, okay, for the Fixed Ops
Absolutely.
revolution.
So it's not
That's
just for
right.
the kids then.
Oh no.
Oh,
I'll have to have mine show me how it works.
Katie, when Brian Benstock went on TikTok, I said, okay, that's it. That's the turning
it's over.
point.
That's the turning point. Everyone needs to be on TikTok at that point.
All right. Cindy Reynolds is in the chat. Cindy will be with us on Wednesday night of this week. We're looking forward to that, everybody. And don't miss Wednesday's show. Also, next Monday and Wednesday, we're going to have our holiday special here at After Dark on the Fixed Ops Roundtable. Santa will be with us on both nights. He'll be our featured guest along with some other guests as well. And I'm sure he will tell us, Kara, whether they have been naughty or nice as well.
I'm sure he will. Thank you, everyone, for being on the show tonight and dressing up, ladies. Katie, it was great to see you again.
So good to see
Thank
you.
you for all of the commenters tonight. Hopefully they shared the video, Ted. We will see you guys this coming Wednesday at 8 p.m.
Sounds